Come on in. All right, this is the Beastman of the month. And so I wanted to do a quadruped Beastman. I wanted to do one that just he could stand up or he could walk on all fours. So it's an Origins body. Those are the arms of the first Masterverse Beastman, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Um, and that head is by a custom maker, and I will put that information up there. I got it by joining their Patreon, um, and when I joined their Patreon, they do drops every month, and I joined their Patreon to get that head. That was, I think, in November, and I'm just getting them all uniform orange here. I'm using ghost brushes, which I love their dry brush brushes. I like all their brushes. You can get them on eBay. Really like their brushes. But I'm trying to get these all the same tone. I've already cleaned off the arms with a little bit of acetone to get that wash off of them, because those had like a brown wash. And there's one coat on the head. And the arms, I think, are getting their second coat, maybe their first. Who really knows? But to get them all the same shade of orange, it does take a couple coats. And here I'm putting a little bit of Vaseline on this neck and head post, because I'm going to mount the head onto it, and then I'll take it off. This is a really flexible hot glue, so it still has some stretch and give. It's not a regular hot glue. You can see it's black. I use it for a lot of stuff. And because these are Masterverse arms going in an Origins body, really all that you have to do is I put in a little bit of firmer hot glue. This is a different hot glue gun. They always sit nearby. One is flexi sticks and one is like an acrylic stick. And you put the firmer hot glue in, and that way the post can still spin inside of it, but it holds the arms on well. And I did this head so that it could be either looking forward or tilt when he was in quadruped mode. And here I'm painting. Again, this is another little ghost brush, dry brush. And this time I remembered to paint the ears. I often forget those. Now my work table it's a work table, okay? I want to make action figures and I make some videos. But mostly I want to make action figures. So I don't have it set up like a studio. Forgive me. So I have to wear this crazy contraption on my head. It shows up later on in the video when I'm painting details like little bits on the head. I'm trying to stay in focus. Okay. I think I'm going to hit the teeth here. Yeah. There's my contraption. That is actually from Harbor Freight. It is a viewer, and it works pretty darn good. It's kind of blocking the way right now, but it is there. Sorry. What's happening is I'm just putting a little bit of white paint on all the teeth, and then I'll go in and I'll hit those eyes. This is all sped up 8x, so every bit of footage is sped up 8x. And all of the waiting for stuff is just edited out. So this is the actual work time is whatever this video is times 8. And there I just cut off some of that excess hot glue. Just popping that head off. Clean that up a little bit, and it's ready to go on the other body. And what you can't see is he's actually resting on his hands. That's that quadruped mode. And here I'm dremeling up by his hips on the leg itself. I do both legs. I think I only show one. But I wanted to make sure that he could get in some real good squatting positions and such. So that's why I did that, so that I could adjust his legs a little better than previously. It was more important for me to get those poses and to have that seem like perfect. This is a 5-minute epoxy that I'm mixing here. This is actually a 1-hour epoxy is what it is. It's Magic Sculpt. It's an AB clay. You mix the two together. And then once they're mixed together, you can sculpt with it. It's a little bit like chewing gum, but it's not too bad. And then it will be, it'll harden in about an hour. And really, you have a good 30-40 minutes to play with it. Mixing it is a little bit of a challenge. You gotta make sure that you have even amounts of A and B. And here I'm just turning it into strips. That's how I'm gonna work with it. There's paint left over on my hands and ink. But I'm sculpting that fur back piece that Beastman is so known for, which did not come with Masterverse, and that with the first Masterverse Beastman. A little frustrating. So I had to make one on my Masterverse Beastman. Why a Beastman every month? I just like Beastman. That's why. And I'm not going to have them all be like the Beastman. I'm actually going to have there be a Beastman clan at a Beastman base where it's his camp. So that little tool's my favorite right now for putting in a fur texture. I can press it in and I can scratch it with that tip. It's pretty good stuff. I do wish this stuff were black, because then it's easier to paint. I feel like you gotta fight to get in every little nook and cranny when it's white. And every now and then you gotta go in and peel it up off the shoulders, because it gets a little droopy. I have made the horns that ring his head, basically. And because he is set up to be quadruped, and then he's sitting quadruped right now. You can't tell, but because you're above him. Because he's set up to be quadruped, I really have those horns kind of facing forward when he's in that quadruped stance, so that he can, charge opponents and really gore them with those horns. And it makes that whole apparatus make a little more sense. Yeah, they can block shots swung at his head, but honestly, just having them be pointed towards the way he's charging is very effective. It makes sense. Each little horn gets a little ring around it. Look like that's how it's attached, probably. This is all little detail work. Once you get it, messing with clay a little bit, you'll none of this is difficult. You can see my collection of ghost brushes sitting over there on the side. I have a couple Dremels that I just keep set up. That's a sanding bit on the handle that you see there. And I wanted to sculpt this with the head on, so that I was able to make sure that he works quadruped on all fours and standing up. I want him to be able to do both. So I actually cut a trench where that head socket is so that it can change direction really easy. And this is a standard Beastman armor, and I'm cutting off the compass bit there. I call it a compass. It's a blue Beastman thing. No one knows what it is. Whatever his medallion is, I'm cutting that out of the plastic. And I'm going to use that medallion on this one. I'll just be able to press it into the clay. That's it. Just a little press, and then it stays. And I let that clay cure. I didn't quite give it overnight. I just gave it, 6-7 hours. And I'm giving it a nice reddish brown base. That's just my base. I will dry brush red over top of that. Getting all the angles and hiding all the white is a little bit tedious. That's why I wish it were black. While that's drying, I can give these arms another coat. Get that body and legs and arms a little more homogeneous, where they're all that same color orange. I think this guy functions, in a way akin to Ram Man, where he just charges at whatever it is. He's got that big torso, big shoulders, big arms, and he hits them with his horns, knocks down doors and people, knocks over carts. Cart tipping is probably a good villainous thing to do. So I like to put that, whatever his face color is, a little bit of that on the hands, a little bit of that, on his ears. All those parts of him that aren't super hairy. And I really went back and forth on what color I wanted these horns to be. I painted them a light brown, and I painted them tan, and I'm going to go back and I'll hit them with white before too long. But this is where I'm a little bit offline with camera. I'm just painting in his chest piece in red. That's the standard Beastman, orange fur and body, and then a red armor piece. And I often use a Sharpie to do the irises. Then I can go in and do the pupil either with paint or with a fine tip Sharpie. Really put those pupils in and have control over it. I'm not the best customizer, but it's really fun. I think it's a great hobby. More red, different red, a little bit brighter. I don't mind bright colors. I think Beastman really pops. He really stands out compared to a lot of the figures. I think everybody tends to give heavy brown or black washes to everything, and I like those crisp colors. I like for them to pop. So I was just checking this guy, and I wanted his belt to be red, so took off his upper torso. Get that painted. It's a little like Superman with the blue fur and then the red belt. What do you do? Here I am going over those horns again. This is their third or fourth color of paint. I just want them to stand out a little bit more, be a little cooler. And I touched his head spikes with that too, just to give them a little bit of difference, a little bit of solidarity between those weird spikes on his head and his shoulder armor. So that's like a bluish silver that I mixed up for his medallion. And he's just got a couple little coats of that. Second coat of white. And a paler blue inside of the compass. Touch all his fingernails with black. Now this is the regular Origins Beastman feet. I have gotten some feet for Beastman, but I haven't used them too much yet. So he does not have any toenails. He just has the weird rip-off sock feet that Beastman has always had. And Beastman Bob Ross up there tells you it's time to put on some little details. And what are those details? I put on the armbands. I had to heat them to stretch them to go over this. I'm not sure why that was, but I heated them up and I got them put on here and locked on kind of. And then I'm getting those painted to match him. He also needed something on his right wrist. And I don't know whose it was, but it looks like a very Beastman like wrist blade thing that I found. And I put that on his right wrist also. So I think that's looking really nice now. His bicep armor that he has really does a good job of framing out the top of that figure, grounding him. Everything's kind of built off of that. And here he is, a little bit of schmutz on the side of his head, but that is Beastman, Quadroped. He is able to again balance on all fours. And keep that one swatting arm raised a little bit. That's kind of cool. And here he is with some other custom Beastmen. And you see how he's got that 1 foot back and 1 foot crouched. He's resting on his knuckles. I like him. Thanks for watching. Y'all like and subscribe.